So imagine waking up in a stranger's bed with no idea how you got there. This happened to a 25-year-old woman who thought she was crashing at a friend's place. Here's how a seemingly normal night spiraled into a seriously twisted WTF story. It started at a friend's housewarming party, where the 25-year-old woman found herself amidst a lively crowd in a cozy, dimly lit apartment. The evening was filled with laughter, music, and a bit too much wine. As the night wore on, she felt the buzz kicking in, and her eyelids grew heavy. Everyone had planned to crash there, given the late hour and her friend's hospitality. As the clock ticked past midnight, the woman decided it was time to find a spot to sleep. With a slightly tipsy swagger, she navigated the dim hallway, counting doors to what she believed was the guest room. In her slightly inebriated state, the identical white doors seemed to blur together. Her head spun a little, and she opened a door, assuming it was the right one. The room was dark, and she didn't bother to switch on the light, trusting her memory and the layout she was sure she'd seen earlier. She stumbled into the room, kicked off her shoes, and felt her way to the bed. The sheets felt cool and welcoming against her skin as she snuggled under them, her mind too fuzzy to notice the subtle differences in the room's layout. The familiar creak of the floor was absent, but she was too exhausted to care. As she settled into the pillows, an uneasy feeling gnawed at her. Something was off, but she couldn't put her finger on it. Her hand brushed against something unexpected, a cell phone that wasn't hers. The realization was slow, like a creeping shadow across her mind. Suddenly, there was movement beside her. A low murmur, followed by the shifting of blankets, sent a jolt through her. Her heart pounded as she turned, squinting through the darkness. The figure of a 30-year-old man emerged, equally startled. They both froze, eyes wide in the dim light filtering through the curtains. A whispered exchange ensued, both parties trying to piece together the puzzle of the night. The man was a friend of a friend, equally disoriented, having also mistook this room for his sleeping quarters. Awkwardness hung in the air like a thick fog, yet neither moved immediately, too stunned by the bizarre turn of events. Eventually, they both laughed off the situation, their whispered voices mingling in the night. The man offered to help her find the right room, and they tiptoed down the hallway, each door now feeling more like a potential trap. Finally, she found the intended guest room. Her cheeks flushed with both embarrassment and relief. As she slipped into bed, she couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of it all. The next morning, the story spread among friends like wildfire, becoming the night's most talked-about event. It's a tale of misadventure that reminds us all to double-check doors, especially after a few too many drinks. Ever ended up where you didn't expect?